Hello, everyone. I think I'm live now. Uh, if you are here listening me, could you please let me know and give me the confirmation? Am I properly audible, clearly visible or not? So that we can start our live within next few seconds, next few minutes. I can see many people are joining, so we will wait for a few minutes so that everybody will join. Today's live will be very interesting. I hope you already have seen the agenda, the thumbnail, the headline, and we will talk about very interesting questions from our guest. Uh, so I will introduce him in a few minutes. Let's wait for a few minutes and then we can start loud and clear. Thank you so much, Pratik, for the confirmation. What about others? There are so many people who have joined. Uh, I really want everyone to write in the chat window so that I get to know who are the people who are joining me. Very good evening, Tushar. How are you doing? Perfect. People are still joining. Great, great, great. So, today I have with me one of my learner who is a guest for today. Nowadays, I really like कि जो जिनको पढ़ाया है उनको स्टेज पे लेके आएं और उनसे कुछ डिस्कशंस करें. And for today, we have Prakhar with us. Hi, Prakhar. How are you?
Hello, ma'am. I am doing fine. How are you?
Good, good. So, how is everything going?
Yeah, it is
Going
great.
good?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So, before we will proceed ahead in today's live, I really want you to introduce yourself and if you can talk about your background and give further details to the audience, that would be great.
Fine. First of all, hello everyone for joining us. Myself, Prakhar Agarwal, and I have completed my graduation in electronics and communication engineering. And during that time, I get to work with a team in which was building an electrical all-terrain vehicle, and I was there as a team member as an electrical head. So at that time, I used to get a lot of data to calculate about the vehicle's electrical part. So from that time, I got a real insights. I getting insights about the car that we were building. So that is why I get a keen interest in data. So I decided to pursue my career in data analyst. That is what the main reason that drove me towards the data analyst field.
Perfect, perfect. So you have given the motivation why you have chosen this specific field. I think that's amazing. So, Prakhar, I just want to know when did you start doing this preparation of this journey to become this data analyst, and how much time actually took to you to, get the complete understanding of what this domain looks like, what are the technical tech stack we have, what things you have covered up in that.
So yes, I started it in my final year. When I was in the final year, I started looking for a structured way of learning data analytics. So I looked through various sources on the Google as well as on YouTube to see like what are the things that one has to or what are the skills that one has to do so as to become a data analyst. So at that time, I started with Python in my final year, and I just did Python for an year at that time, along with SQL and Excel. But I think that was not the great call because I was taking multiple skills at a time. So it took me after completing my graduation, I gave one more year to the data analytics and in a very structured way. So that was the time. Like it took me around 2 years to completely get, not I would say completely, but to get the kind of a hold of data analytics part.
Okay, perfect. But see, on every weekend, that's what I was telling you before this live also. Ki I used to teach multiple students, right? And I used to conduct multiple discussions with them, master classes I used to host. And there is one common question, जो कि freshers तो पक्का पूछते हैं कि to get into this specific domain it's very difficult. Like जब भी हम JD देखते हैं तो लिखा हुआ होता है कि it requires some sort of experience, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So you didn't get this specific issue, or if you get that, how you overcome that?
Yeah, if I have to say, that was the major issue. But what happened is, जब मैंने थोड़ा थोड़ा डीपली सर्च करा कि what the field is about, what does a data analyst need, and what does a company want from it. From that perspective, when I was thinking about this role, this year of experience part get eliminated from my line of sight completely, because there are many JDs which even say that a fresher would be great enough, because sometimes they mark it as 0 to 3 years, 0 to 2 years. So that was when I tried to see like what are the things that I should do to get into this role. So the major thing that I found was that what are the skills that I am learning, the projects that I am building, because those are the things that will help you crack a job. In being a data analyst part, if there are a experience tag on that particular job, but if your resume stand out of it, like no, like any experienced individual, then that is the best part. Because if the manager or the anyone in the company who is seeing your resume or CV during the time of that job, and they see like what the skills you are holding, what are your command on that skills based on your projects that you have mentioned, that is the major part that will clear the clutter of this experience from your mind.
Okay, so if like you already have talked about resume, the projects part, I think it would be great if you can talk about what sort of projects you have mentioned in your resume, how many projects you have designed, is that end to end or not? What are the tech stack you have used in that projects? Like basically showcase skills which help you to land, crack these interviews. Maybe that would be beneficial for everyone.
Fine. We can go just step by step. Like if I have to say that in the resume part, we mention skills as well as the project. But mentioning skill is not that much important, because in nowadays anyone can mention any amount of skills in their resume, but we have to justify those skills that we are mentioning. So what I did was I just started only writing those skills in which I was very much, I would say, perfect, or I was getting to perfection. So I started with very few projects. Like with the first of all, I started with the skill Excel and built 2 to 3 projects on that. And for that, I selected Kaggle, because Kaggle पे क्या होता है ना, जो डेटा सेट हमें मिलता है वो ऑलमोस्ट बिजनेस, जो बिजनेस हमारे बिजनेसेस में यूज होता है, वो उसकी परफेक्शन के लिए ऑलमोस्ट परफेक्ट होता है उसके लिए. तो मैंने कैगल से पहले डेटा सेट वगैरह लिया, और फिर मैं थोड़ा बहुत चैट जीपीटी का हेल्प लेता था टू बिल्ड दैट प्रोजेक्ट. बिकॉज मुझे एक ऐसा फील चाहिए कि लाइक अगर मेरे पास कोई डेटा सेट है, तो मुझे ऐसा ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि मुझे किसी ने टास्क दिया है कि ये आपका डेटा सेट है और आपको इस पे ये सब टास्क परफॉर्म करने हैं, कि आपको देखना है, इंसाइट्स लेने हैं कि अगर कोई चीज़ ऐसा है तो क्यों है. So that was I started to doing. So like in the Excel, the major project that I created was an Indian CPI inflation project, in which I was recording the CPIs for the India over the past 10 years. And in that data, I created a end-to-end resources of the insights, like why is it happening, and what are the percentages I was getting for the inflation. And to come to the part of the mentioning it in the resume, the interviewer doesn't want to see what you have mentioned about the project or the data set. They want to see like what insights have you gathered after performing or after like completing that project. They are looking for that thing only. So I whenever I used to mention a project in my resume, I just try to be more precise with the numbers as well as the insights, because that will show my understanding of data and how well I can explain the data and give the insights to the interviewer or to the company whom for I ever be working for. And if I move on to the next project that I built was a SQL project. It was an e-commerce data set, and that tool was the most important tool. If I have to say, if I had to choose between all the tools that data analysts use, that will be the SQL, because with SQL we can do so many things. We can gather data, we can retrieve any type of data or any type of queries that we want. So with the e-commerce data, actually in that data there were four data sets that I was using, and I was building very complex queries with the help of the SQL and with the help of the knowledge that I've gained. So that gave me a boost for the SQL skill. So in that project, I was like doing the analysis based out of SQL using the customer data set or the orders data set and the products data set that was given to me. So that was also a very good project that I have taken and done work on. So these are the major things about data understanding and how well you can represent the insights on your resume. That will be the major part of a fresher to get into this role.
Okay, so you have talked about you have created the project based on Excel and SQL.
Yes.
Or what about other tech stack like Power BI? Have you used that also in your projects, or you have not used, but you have just had the knowledge of that?
No, I have used them. I have used Power BI as well as Python. But actually, those skills I'm still learning and I'm still working on those projects. So that is why I am not mentioning in that resume, because that thing will not. Because if the interviewers see anything else, their mind would shift onto that topic, and that would be not for a resume narrative, for an interview narrative perspective, because that will sideline your valuable skills to your from your invaluable skills. So that is why I tried to be more precise with my skills. I tried to show them what I know. So that is why I have not created that much of projects with Python and Power BI.
Okay, so I'm asking a lot of questions. Let's take few questions from our audience as well. So one question is he from tier one or two college? You have not talked about your
Uh,
college, so you can say
okay.
is it tier one IITs or NITs or some private college where you have done your bachelor's.
My college was a tier 3 or 4 college, I would say.
Oh,
It
okay.
was a semi government college from which I have graduated.
So guys, you can see it's a wrong notion that the people who are from tier one they can only got a direct job, and the people who are not from tier one or tier two college they won't be able to get it, right? One other question by Kishore, that is DSA required for D? It's an interesting question. So, in your interview process, by the way, is this your first company where you have interviewed, or multiple companies you have faced rejection and then finally you got the uh, this specific company as a selected part?
Yes, I have given many interviews for the
Okay.
data analytics position, and the
So,
major
combining
choice.
all experiences, can you talk about that? What do you think? DSA is required in 2025 or not?
I don't think so. DSA is required for data analytics part, as of my experience, because I have given many interviews for the data analytics position, and I have not been asked about DSA in those.
Okay, so maybe you have not given the interviews in tier one companies. Am I assuming it correctly? Like Amazon, Google, these companies,
Yes.
have you given the interviews? You have not given,
No,
right?
I yes, I have not given interviews. I majorly seek for the startups, because those are the
That
places
is
where a
the
person
point.
can learn.
Yes, like I always say for fresher, startup is good, but in startup, DSA requirement is not there. They will be focusing more on the development side. But again, I am repeating this point because I have personally experienced this. If you're applying for tier one companies like Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, In that, DSA will be required if you're applying for DA specific jobs as well, right? Perfect. Okay, so one more interesting question by Tushar. Can he give us an idea around SQL, like in how much depth they went in SQL, uh, and how someone who knows nothing about Excel, is Excel really important? Like SQL में आपसे क्या question पूछे पहले उसके बारे में बात करते हैं, and then we will move to the Excel वाला question as well.
अगर मैं सीक्वल की बात करूं तो मेरे जितने भी इंटरव्यूज मैंने अभी तक दिए हैं उसमें मेजरली अगर वो स्किल्स में पाइथन भी मेंशन करते हैं ना जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन में, बट एट द टाइम ऑफ इंटरव्यू दे आर आस्किंग सीक्वल क्वेश्चंस फॉर द 40 to 45 minutes that I have seen for the fresher, because they are more interested in SQL part from a fresher perspective. So if I have to say about SQL, they start with very basics. They will give you select statements, various count statements, or various aggregation functions. But as soon as you keep answering those questions, they get to the very advanced level of like views, creating indexes, and using subqueries, joins together, and like using CT, common table expressions. So these are the kinds of depth that can get into the SQL interviews, because sometimes what they are looking for is how capable a person is to extract any kind of data from the query they have been given. बिकॉज उन लोग को चाहिए कि एक ऐसा बंदा होना चाहिए हमारे पास जिसको हम अगर कोई भी क्वेरी दें तो वो हमें फटाफट से उसका क्या कह सकते हैं कि पूरा टेबल क्रिएट करके दे, या जो भी हमें इंसाइट्स चाहिए वो उसमें से हमें जल्दी निकाल कर दे.
परफेक्ट. डू यू रिमेंबर एनी यूज केस? कोई अगर याद हो आपको, अभी रिकॉल कर पा रहे हो तो, जस्ट टू गिव द एग्जांपल टू द लर्नर्स की इस तरीके से क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं वो. कोई भी यूज केस अगर याद आ रहा है तो, नहीं आ रहा तो इट्स ओके.
Yes, yes. In the previous 2 to 3 interviews, the interview started with very basic questions. Like they give you a data set, a very small data set, and they just do pseudo questions. मेजरली क्या रहता है सीक्वल में ना, वो लोग सूडो कोडिंग में ज़्यादा फोकस करते हैं. उनको पता है अगर हम इसको डेटा देंगे तो वो ज़्यादा सोच पाएगा एज कम्पेयर टू सूडो कोड. तो वो लोग इंटरव्यूअर्स मेजरली क्या करते हैं कि आपको टेबल्स के नाम बता देंगे और उनके 2-3 कॉलम्स बता देंगे सबके, एंड दे स्टार्ट विद लाइक which column can you define as a primary key or a foreign key column. So these are the kinds of questions they start with, and then they go to the joins part, because joins and subqueries are the important part as for a interview perspective. बिकॉज जितने भी इंटरव्यूज मैंने दिए हैं अभी तक, मेरा मेजर जो क्वेश्चंस का रहता था वो पूरा या तो जॉइंट्स पर रहता था या सब क्वेरीज पर रहता है या दोनों का कंबाइन पर रहता था. और मेजरली क्या होता है ना, हम लोग वहीं फंसते हैं क्योंकि सब क्वेरीज और जॉइंट्स को अप्लाई करना पहले इजी लगता है एट द टाइम ऑफ लर्निंग, but when you are applying it at the time of interview you get stuck various times. So that is what the major and important part. And if though that thing is also clear, then they get to the other part like indexes, views. So this is the kind of a flow that is I have seen always in my SQL interviews.
ओके. एंड द सेकंड क्वेश्चन वाज कि एक्सेल जरूरी है या नहीं फॉर डेटा एनालिस्ट जॉब.
uh, as of I can say that Excel is the most important part, because Excel से क्या होता है ना, Excel आपका पूरा बेसिक एक तरीके से कवर करता है. वो आपको एक तरीके से पूरा बताता है कि डेटा एनालिस्ट को कैसे सोचना चाहिए अगर उसको डेटा दिया हुआ है, या स्टोरी कैसे उसको टेल करना है. डेटा अंडरस्टैंडिंग वाला पार्ट जो आप सीखते हो पूरा एक्सेल पे ही बेस्ड होता है. So, I would say that if a person is starting to go into this field, they have to learn about Excel and in a very deep manner. Like if they are if they are like I have to take this skill, I am learning Excel, so they should give 2 to 3 months or 4 to 5 months to this skills. I think to the Excel part only, because from the Excel you will get to learn about various formulas that we are using, and most important of all, it tells you about the data very clearly, because you can visualize it that you cannot do in the SQL part.
परफेक्ट, परफेक्ट. So, regarding the learning part, you were a part of the DA course of mine, right?
Yes,
Now, in that course, what was the most, eye-opening tool for you? Like you have never ever seen that or have not used that. Any specific portion? It's not about tool, any concept or something like that in DA.
First, if I have to tell about a tool, it would be SQL only, because
Okay.
in my college time I have not learned SQL that much, and after
Okay.
joining the course, I started learning SQL. I tried to go into very thorough studying about various commands or see the documentation about it, and practice
Mm-hmm.
it a lot. So that built a major confidence around the SQL for me. एंड उसके बाद अगर मैं बात करूं, अगर कोई मुझे पोर्शन या फिर वो रखता है, तो वो स्टैटिस्टिक्स का पोर्शन था, जो
Hmm.
कि थोड़ा ओवरवेलमिंग भी था और आई ओपनिंग भी था, क्योंकि
Mm-hmm.
स्टैटिस्टिक्स एक ऐसा पार्ट हो जाता है कि जो शायद 11 12 में करते हैं, बट इतना कोई देखता नहीं है, क्योंकि उसको बोला जाता है कि ये तो 3 या 4 नंबर का ही आएगा, इसको तुम देख के क्या करोगे, इससे अच्छा है
Yes.
कि कोई दूसरे पार्ट में इंश्योरेशन वगैरह पे फोकस कर। तो बट जब आप
Hmm.
डेटा एनालिटिक्स में स्टैटिस्टिक्स देखते हो, तो आपको लगता है कि यार सेंट्रल लिमिट थ्योरम भी है, ये भी है, वो भी है, काफ़ी चीज़ें उसमें हो जाती हैं। तो बट ये है कि अगर आप उसको भी एक प्रॉपर वे में स्टडी करो, जो भी कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, तो मैं वही करता हूँ। मैं अभी भी थोड़ा स्टेट्स नहीं समझ पाता, तो आई यूज टू वॉच योर लेक्चर्स और टू स्टडी द कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऑन यूट्यूब और एनी वेयर द सोर्स आई कैन फाउंड। सो दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ पोर्शन दैट आई थिंक is an eye-opening portion for me.
And what specific topic is toughest for you in the learning journey of data analysts?
Uh, Toughest topic as of now, I cannot recall like what topic it is.
Like
For
we
me,
have
that
separate modules. We had
yes, yes,
Excel,
yes,
then we had stats, we had Power BI, we had coding, Python coding solely,
Python coding, yes,
EDA, that thing we have done. I think all these things we have covered up. SQL.
yes, yes, yes.
So,
If I have to say the Python coding, using the for the statistics part, that was a
okay,
bit confusing
okay.
for me. If I
So
have to say about it,
inferential stats you're talking about, hypothesis testing.
yes, yes,
That one?
yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it. Usually it is difficult for many people, so I can relate. Perfect. Uh, okay. So now the most awaited question which we are getting from the very start कि इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस कैसे होता है एंड बिफोर लैंडिंग दिस जॉब हाउ मेनी इंटरव्यूज हैव यू अप्लाइड व्हाट वाज योर अप्रोच in proceeding with the interviews, how many rounds you have faced in the interviews commonly in maximum companies, those things you can answer in one. Yep.
So if I have to start with the interviews part, so first of all, what we get is a technical assessment, and that technical assessment is majorly based out of the skills mentioned in that job description. If the job description says Excel, SQL, Python, so there can be few questions regarding Excel. There can be a coding part, like two questions of SQL and two questions of Python related to the data analytics part. And the major questions in the SQL that we get is about the joins and subqueries, which I was earlier talking about. And in the Python, they are also looking for that type of question, but in Python they get of around like of a competitive programming type of thing, but not in a very toughest manner, in a very medium or easy manner, because they wanted to see like how a person can tackle the competitive programming also using Python. And for the Excel part, they are not looking for formulas or anything like that. They are majorly looking for the data understanding part. They give you a question regarding if I am using this tool or this formula, then what insights I will get. So these are the major parts of the technical assessment that we get. And apart from this, there are various data analytics questions also that we have to face in the technical assessments. And after this, when the assessment is clear, there is one technical round, one or two technical round. It totally depends on the company. So what happens is, if there are two technical rounds, so they are just testing different skills in different technical rounds. Let's say suppose they are using like SQL and Python. So one day they will ask you about SQL, Excel, or Excel or Python on the next day. So that is what the major technical interviews are about. But if I have to go through about the questions, they start with the very basic questions. For the Excel part, what they do, they share with you a Excel sheet, or they share Excel sheet and they give you various problems in that Excel sheet only, where they will ask you like I have to extract this part or the pivot tables. These are the major questions that I see in the Excel interviews nowadays. And for the SQL part, I have already talked it about before. They start with the very basic. They will also say like you can load the table or not. They will say like select the table, this column from the table. They will go to that basics, and they will go to the much advanced level of the indexing or subqueries and joins combinedly. And for the Python part, they start from very basic Python. Like sometimes they are using like talking about recursions, that type of coding, some competitive questions they ask, and at the end they give you a data set in which they will like give you a process to load the data and what information they wanted to be extracted. So these are the kind of a flow that are being used, that I'm being seeing now days in the interviews for data analyst role for a fresher person.
Okay, so did they also ask about statistics, stats portion?
uh,
As
the
per your,
interview
so
which
what you have faced, you can talk about that. But
Hmm.
here, just to give the clarity, what I have understood from Prakhar's call, that maximum he has applied in the startup based firms, right, Prakhar? So this
Yes,
is
ma'am.
the experience which you are sharing for the startups. So have you faced, like DSA, you are saying not that much you have faced. What about stats? Have you faced questions of stats, like central limit theorem or inferential stats based questions, hypothesis testing, any other thing like that?
Uh, that thing I have not yet encountered in the interviews for a fresher push for a fresher, because the majorly they are not looking for a guy with a very much like a technical background. They are looking for a guy that understands the data. The major story of the data analyst is about data understanding. If a person can understand the data, he can use a tool very well, because that is what the companies are looking for. And I actively apply for startups only. I used to search for various startups, used to mail the employees or text them on the LinkedIn, because I think those are the that startup is a very good platform for a fresher, because what learnings you get in that startup, because you get to work from end to end. You are
That's
given
true.
data, you are working on it, you are understanding it, you are communicating with the client, which builds one more
Hmm.
skills of communication of your I would say, that will highlight to the interviewer, if you are applying to the another company, that this person is working in a startup, small startup, but still his communication is this much well and good. So I would say that is all that I do, that I have faced or I have to work with nowadays.
Perfect. I think we have talked about a lot about the interview process. Now, as far as I remember, when I was teaching this entire course, it was quite huge, almost an year we have spent. So, have you ever feel demotivated? Like, छोड़ो इतना लंबा कौन discuss करेगा, इतना depth में कौन पढ़ेगा? And I have, as far as I remember, observed you were one of the active participants in the batch. Like सारे टास्क जो मैं शेयर कर रही हूँ या फिर whatever things I am sharing for the research part. So don't you feel like in between, let me now skip this, I have already covered, let's say, excellent SQL in the start, and let's say these are the major things, let me just now skip this. मतलब रील्स और हाँ, रील्स की दुनिया में इतना लंबा कोर्स कैसे कंटिन्यू किया? दैट्स द क्वेश्चन।
अगर मैं बिल्कुल ऑनेस्टली दूँ, कुछ लोग सच नहीं मानेंगे क्योंकि वो लोग नहीं सोच सकते कि आज की जनरेशन में कोई ऐसा है जो रील्स और यूट्यूब पर मतलब शॉर्ट्स वगैरह नहीं देख रहा। टू बी सेफ मैं
हाँ,
देखता हूँ।
शॉर्ट्स, मुझे शॉर्ट्स याद नहीं आ रहा था वर्ड। यस, नाउ इट इज करेक्ट।
That is a new
हम्म।
addiction nowadays. Reel is now old. Shorts is the
ओह,
new thing for us.
अच्छा, मुझे पता ही नहीं है,
Uh,
बताओ। मेरे को वर्ड ही नाम याद ही नहीं आ रहा था, इतनी देर हो गई। एनी हाउ, खैर। सो या यू वर टेलिंग समथिंग टू मी। सो हाउ डिड यू
so
बाउंस बैक? हैव यू एवर फील डिमोटिवेटेड? पहला तो ये
yes.
क्वेश्चन है।
Uh,
मल्टीपल टाइम्स हुआ होगा।
डीमोटिवेशन मतलब डीमोटिवेशन तो नहीं कह सकते, मतलब एक ना इंसान को मतलब वो पागल सा हो जाता है कि यार आई एम ट्राइंग 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 एंड नथिंग इज वर्किंग फॉर मी. I have
ओके।
done this, I am doing this, I am doing this, but at the end of the day nothing is working. You are just frustrated at the end कि भाई अब तो कर लिया यार, अब भी नहीं हो रहा, अब तो सब
Yes,
कुछ
I think
मेंशन है.
many learners will relate on this point. That's true. Then,
यस. तो मेरा बस ये रहता था कि अगर बेशक मैं डिमोटिवेटेड हूँ या कुछ भी ऐसा पॉइंट है मेरे साथ कि आई एम फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, आई डिड नॉट स्किप द लेक्चर्स. I keep writing or like do easy questions on that day to give us
hmm,
self confidence that like, oh, I am working on this and I am able to do these types of questions. I am able to tackle beginner questions, so I move on to intermediate ones. So these were the kinds of things that I used to deal with the demotivation or demotivated days, I would say. But I was consistently disciplined throughout the course. I said, if
hmm,
this time I have a live class and I have a family gathering or a function, I would say no. I would have to attend that class because I know what I understand in the live session. That is
hmm,
more valuable what I see in the recording, because I cannot ask question in the recording per se. Because अगर एक बार
oh,
लाइव में चल रहा है, मुझे डाउट आया कुछ भी टॉपिक पे या किसी भी कोड की लाइन में, तो मैं एट द मोमेंट आपसे पूछ सकता हूँ कि मैम मुझे
that's
यहाँ
true.
पे डाउट है, आप क्लियर कर दो. बट अगर रिकॉर्डिंग हो गया तो फिर तो मैं ढूंढ ही रहा हूँ. अब चैट जीपीटी भी आजकल कभी कुछ आंसर देता है, कोई दूसरे एआई पे जाओ तो वो अलग देता है. तो रिसोर्सेज ऐसे आप लोग हैं नहीं. जो टीचर्स हैं उन पे जो ट्रस्ट है ना, वो बचपन से ही रहा है. मतलब अगर कोई कहे कि आपको कैसे लर्निंग का रहता है, तो टीचर्स के थ्रू ही रहता है. मुझे चाहिए कि कोई मुझे आके पढ़ा दे, फिर आई कैन डील विद इट. लाइक अब तो हो जाएगा.
Nice, nice, nice. That is why mentors have a big responsibility, right? Okay.
यस.
Anyhow, so now many people are waiting about the compensation package. Like, don't talk about your compensation, but you can provide some sort of range कि maximum companies मतलब इस range में इतना तो दे ही रही है करके data analyst job के अंदर minimum and maximum you can talk about.
सो मेजरली क्या रहता है डेटा एनालिस्ट में. आजकल मैंने देखा है कंपनीज का, जो अच्छी कंपनीज भी हैं, जो स्टार्टअप्स नहीं है, अच्छे एमएनसी बन गए हैं, वो लोग भी
Mm-hmm.
इंटर्नशिप्स वगैरह ऑफर करते हैं. और
That's true.
इंटर्नशिप्स भी काफ़ी अच्छा हैंडसम अमाउंट देते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो
Mm.
लोग बहुत ही लेबरस वर्क करा रहे हैं और फिर कुछ दे भी नहीं रहे. काफ़ी हैंडसम अमाउंट में वो लोग इंटर्नशिप देते हैं, और वो भी 6 मंथ्स का मैंने देखा है आजकल एवरेज. अगर मैं बोलूँ तो 6 मंथ्स के लिए वो लोग एवरेज इंटर्नशिप दे ही रहे हैं. बट अगर एज अ आप फ्रेशर, आपको इंटर्नशिप की नहीं फुल टाइम रोल का ही चाहिए, क्योंकि उसका वैल्यू एक अलग ही बन जाता है. क्योंकि इंटर्नशिप के बाद
Mm-hmm.
रहता है कि अगर मेरी परफॉर्मेंस कंपनी को कैसी लगी तो वो पीपीओ वगैरह देंगे या नहीं. बट अगर फुल टाइम रोल की मैं बात करूँ तो आप 4 to 8 एलपीए के बीच में आप लोग मतलब वो कर सकते, मतलब थॉट कर सकते हो कि यार इतना तो मुझे कंपनी देगी ही देगी. क्योंकि मैंने जितने भी जेडीज वगैरह देखे हैं या फिर जितना भी जॉब का लिस्टिंग्स आता है, उसमें मेजरली यही फिगर होता है. और जो कि अगर एक फ्रेशर के पर्सपेक्टिव से बोलूँ तो काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है, बिकॉज लर्निंग कम्स बिफोर मनी. क्योंकि अगर
That's
क्योंकि
true.
अगर आपको लर्निंग अच्छी मिल रही है, तो आपको पैसे का इतना नहीं रहता. आपको लगता है कि यार वो तो बढ़ ही जाना है बाद में, क्योंकि स्किल्स अभी लर्न कर सकते हो एज अ फ्रेशर.
Hmm.
3-4 साल आप लर्निंग कर सकते हो अच्छी, बट उसके बाद ऐसा रहेगा कि आपको मन नहीं करता कि यार अब तो सीख लिया ना, अब तो हो गया. बट अभी लर्निंग फेज अच्छा चलता है, तो वो चीज़ काफ़ी सही रहता है कि आप अभी कम सैलरी में थोड़ा काम करो तो आपको लगे कि यार हाँ मैं सीख भी रहा हूँ, मेरा काम भी अच्छा है.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I think this ideology I also follows. I didn't follow it at the start when I was a fresher. No one told me, and I used to think about money, कि package अच्छा होना चाहिए. But later I realized this fact, and I used to tell now to the learners in my batch as well, कि as a fresher, if you have to choose between money and learning, like if you get both, that's the ideal situation. Obviously you will choose both, जहाँ पे learning भी
Yes.
ज़्यादा और पैसा भी. But if you have a trade off and you have to choose between these two things, so always and always prioritize the learning, because uh, at the age where we were the freshers, we have a lot of time, and if we spent in learning, that will ideally, when you will be in 30s, you will get a very handsome salary at the end of the day. That is for sure. I have seen personally a lot of my friends who started with a very low salary. They didn't focus much. Maximum people have started with the startups, and now they are working in, someone is working in US based firm, someone is working in Google, someone is working in Amazon. So like now things gets changed and they are working really great, getting a lot of good package. And even many people used to ask, does masters required? Even though I have done that, but I never ever say ki masters is the utmost important thing which we supposed to do to get a good package. It's not necessity. In fact, all of my friends who are currently in my circle, no one have pursued masters. All are maximum bachelors, and they're earning really good amount of salary. So that's the fact. Great. Uh, the final thing is, what's your biggest advice which you want to give for DA role to the aspirants, to the learners who are currently learning, and they really want to grab a job as a full time, as a fresher? What is the final advice which you want to give at your end?
If I have to give a final advice about the DA role, if a fresher want to pursue his career in that and that to a full time, so I would say, first of all, start with the learning, and not learning in a way like I am doing Excel 1 hour, I am doing SQL 2 hour a day, and I am doing Python 3 hour a day. So I am covering all these three skills in one day. So I will be prepared very well after the end of a year. So that is a kind of a myth that some people are having, that taking multiple skills at a time will work for them. But what is the major thing is, like, do one skill at a time, give it month, 2 month, 3 month, the time that is taking, give it to it. बट एट द एंड व्हेन यू विल सी ना, देर आप उस स्किल को ना एकदम अच्छे से हार्नेस कर पाओगे. आपको पता होगा कि मुझे इसमें दिक्कत आ रहा है, तो मेरा इशू क्या है. क्योंकि कई बार हो जाता है कि हम लोग मल्टीपल स्किल में फोकस करते हैं ना, तो हमें आइडिया नहीं रहता कि यार मेरा इशू कहाँ पे आ रहा है या मुझे दिक्कत कहाँ पे है. तो मेरा यही है कि आप अगर कुछ भी चीज़ फॉलो करो तो एक स्ट्रक्चर्ड मैनर में फॉलो करो. आप कहीं से भी पढ़ो, अगर आप कोई कोर्स ले रहे हो या फिर कहीं यूट्यूब से आप पढ़ रहे हो, बट यू शुड हैव अ आइडिया या फिर किसी से गाइडेंस वगैरह होनी चाहिए कि अगर मैं स्ट्रक्चर्ड मैनर में पढ़ूंगा तो मेरा काम सही चलेगा. तो वही चीज़ रहता है, और बाकी तो यही है कि डीमोटिवेशन रहता है एज अ फ्रेशर, आई वुड से. क्योंकि जैसा मैम ने कहा कि सैलरी का बड़ा इशू रहता है, क्योंकि हर फ्रेशर का दिमाग में एक चीज़ होती है, मैं बोलूँगा, कि वो सोचते हैं कि यार काश मैं सुबह उठूँ, मुझे गूगल से मेल आ जाए और मेरे इतना पैकेज हो जाए, इतनी सैलरी हो जाए, बस काम खत्म. क्योंकि वो चीज़ रहता है फ्रेशर के माइंड में बहुत ज़्यादा, कि क्योंकि अगर जैसे मैं भी टायर 3 कॉलेज से हूँ, जो टायर 3 टायर 4 कॉलेजेस के होते हैं, उनको यही इशू रहता है कि यार जितना भी अच्छा अच्छा कंपनीज है वो सब IITs NITs टायर 1 टायर 2 कॉलेजेस ले जाते हैं. बट ऐसा नहीं है. द मेजर थिंग इज अबाउट योर स्किल्स, योर लर्निंग, योर डिसिप्लिन टुवर्ड्स योर लर्निंग. You have to be disciplined. That is the only motivation that can get you to this role, or will make you to pursue this role in a very loving manner. Because if I have to say, like, out of many roles that I have seen, or many uh, people working, I found that data analytics role is the most interesting one. You get to work on something, you get something from the work. So that is a total relax about the data analytics role. So you should just maintain discipline for 1 to 1.5 year, and I guarantee you that you will land a job in a very great company.
Great. So there was one more question by Aditya, which we have missed. Ki how to revise the skills after learning? Like, let's say you have, there are many modules, right? Let's say you have learned
Yes,
Python, then you have learned stats. After some point of time, maybe you forget what you have learned in Python or what you have learned in
yes, yes.
Excel, because it's a very vast domain, to be very frank. And when we move to data science, a lot of vastness again will come. So how you're managing that at your end?
अगर मैं डिस्कस करूँ इस चीज़ का, तो मेरा ना क्या रहता है, जैसे अगर जैसे पूरा कोर्स आपका पूरा हो गया, आपने स्किल्स वगैरह लर्न कर लिया, तो मेरा एक चीज़ रहता है कि अब स्किल्स आता है, पता है, बट कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं रहता कि मुझे ये चीज़ याद नहीं आ रही है या वो नहीं रह रहा है। तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, हमेशा प्रैक्टिस के लिए कैगल से या फिर किसी भी प्लेटफॉर्म से आप डेटा सेट ले सकते हो, एंड उस डेटा सेट में जितने भी कॉलम्स है, उसके आप चैट जीपीटी में उसका डिस्क्रिप्शन वगैरह डाल दो, और उससे कहो कि आपके लिए क्वेश्चंस वगैरह क्रिएट करें एज ऑफ बिगिनर लेवल्स, इंटरमीडिएट लेवल्स एंड एडवांस लेवल्स। क्योंकि जब मैं भी कोर्स परस्यू कर रहा था, तो मेरा यही रहता था कि मैं हर दिन एक डेटा सेट उठाता था, एंड मिनिमम 60 क्वेश्चंस मैं उस दिन किस या तो पाइथन के कर रहा हूँ या सीक्वल के कर रहा हूँ, मैं उस दिन करता था। कि 20 बिगनर करता था कि मेरे बिगनर के कॉन्सेप्ट्स कवर हो जाए, 20 इंटरमीडिएट करता था, 20 एडवांस क्वेश्चन करता था। तो इस तरीके से आपका रिवीजन बहुत अच्छा रहता है। आपको ज़रूरी नहीं आप शुरू से उठा के पढ़ो कि मैंने पाइथन में ये स्टार्ट करा था। आप सीधे रिवाइज इस चीज़ से भी कर सकते हो, आपको कॉन्सेप्ट्स भी याद आ सकते हैं। और अगर आपको लग रहा है कि मुझे ये क्वेश्चन नहीं आ रहा, तो डोंट गो फॉर द एग्जैक्ट कोड फ्रॉम द चैट जीपीटी। उससे मतलब उसको एज अ बेंटोर की तरह यूज करो कि ये क्वेश्चन है, इसका आप मुझे थोड़ा कॉन्सेप्ट बताओ, या क्या चीज़ हो सकती है। तो अगर वो जैसे कुछ भी बताता है, तो आप यूट्यूब पे सर्च कर सकते हो या गूगल पे रिसोर्सेज फाइंड कर सकते हो पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट का। उस तरीके से अगर आप रिवीजन करोगे, तो क्वेश्चंस के साथ वो चीज़ें जल्दी और अच्छे से याद रहती हैं, और काफ़ी लॉन्ग टाइम तक आपको वो चीज़ें याद रहेंगी। तो मेरा अगर एडवाइस है रिवीजन का, तो मेरा यही रहेगा, क्योंकि मैं यही चीज़ अभी भी फॉलो करता हूँ। बट जब एज अ वर्किंग अब इतना टाइम नहीं मिलता, तो मेरा रहता है कि मैं हर वीकेंड पे एक डेटा सेट उठा के उस पर सीक्वल, पाइथन, एक्सेल और पावर बीआई वगैरह में यूज़ कर सकूँ। तो मेरा थोड़ा थोड़ा रिवीजन होता रहता है टूल्स का।
Great, sounds good. So Tushar also has asked interesting question. I really like it. So he mentioned, what's the one thing he did wrong, maybe you have not done, so you can think about it, that
Yes.
he could do differently if he could go back in time in the process of preparing this. मतलब यू कैन
Uh,
रिकॉल कुछ ऐसा जो आपको लगता हो कि आपने, मतलब इंटरव्यूज देते हुए आपको रियलाइज हुआ हो कि गलत तरीके से मैंने प्रिपेयर किया है इसको, शायद मुझे इस तरीके से करना चाहिए था तो मेरे आउटकम थोड़े और अच्छे आते।
हाँ, मतलब अगर मैं जैसे लर्निंग का पहले बोलूँ, तो पहले क्या था, मैं काफ़ी एक दो स्किल्स एक साथ कर रहा था। तो उस वजह से मुझे लगता था कि यार नहीं, मतलब फिर मुझे बाद में रियलाइज़ हुआ कि जो मैंने पहले करा, अगर मैं वैसे नहीं करता, तो हो सकता था कि मैं इस जॉब में और या फिर डेटा एनालिस्ट का जॉब जल्दी लैंड कर पाता। क्योंकि फिर मैंने स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में उसको पूरा करना स्टार्ट करा, पहले वन स्किल एट अ टाइम करके। तो वही मेरा मेजर था कि अगर पहले आपको एक ही स्किल करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर आप एक स्किल को थोड़ा उस पर ग्रेस्प आ जाएगा, देन मूव टू द नेक्स्ट स्किल। और अगर बाकी हम बात करें कि इंटरव्यू पर्सपेक्टिव से, तो इंटरव्यूज में मेजरली ये रहता है कि आप जो भी प्रोजेक्ट्स मेंशन करते हो, मेजर क्वेश्चन उन्हीं के अराउंड घूमता है। अगर आपने कोई भी ऐसा प्रोजेक्ट मेंशन करा है जिस पे आपने ज़्यादा वर्क नहीं करा, तो वो थोड़ा दिक्कत रहता है। क्योंकि जैसे स्टार्टिंग में जब मैं डेटा एनालिटिक्स के लिए इंटरव्यू देता था, so I mentioned one project which I did not work much on, like I didn't give it much time. So they used to ask me about end-to-end process, like what is the data, what's in it data, what was in it, and how did you tackle these problems. So I thought that I should mention only those projects which I know about very much, or like I have made myself from end to end, that I have created. So that is the kind of thing that one should look into, because अब थोड़ा recently 1 month पहले भी मैंने एक इंटरव्यू दिया था। So the guy was asking me about my SQL project, ही वॉज आस्किंग मी लाइक, आप मेरे को बिल्कुल स्टार्ट से बताओ कि आपके पास डेटा सेट क्या थे, और आपने उसमें क्या क्या ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म करे, आपने क्या क्या इंसाइट्स गैदर करे। तो वो चीज़ ज़्यादा मेन रहती है कि आपको जो भी आप प्रोजेक्ट मेंशन कर रहे हो रेज्यूम में, वो आपको अच्छे से पता होना चाहिए एंड टू एंड कि मैंने करा क्या है उसमें, कि मेरा रोल क्या था, मुझे इंसाइट्स क्या मिले, डेटा कैसा था, डेटा अंडरस्टैंडिंग होनी चाहिए। और डेटा स्टोरी टेलिंग इज अ मेजर पार्ट फॉर द डेटा एनालिटिक्स रोल। अगर आप डेटा को समझा नहीं पाओगे ना, तो उस डेटा एनालिटिक्स वर्ड का जो वो ना, आप उस वर्ड को जस्टिफाई नहीं कर पाओगे कि डेटा एनालिटिक्स के आप जॉब में क्यों आना चाहते हैं। सो दीज आर द मेजर थिंग्स फ्रॉम माई एंड।
Perfect. Uh, I think great. We have almost covered up everything. So once again, thank you so much, Prakhar, to join us here and share your entire experience of data analyst job role. Because मैं जब भी मास्टर क्लास लेती थी या किसी भी इवेंट को होस्ट करती थी तो एक ये क्वेश्चन रहता था, तो आई वाज जस्ट प्लानिंग लॉन्ग टाइम बैक कि आपके साथ करेंगे. That's like I didn't get the time, but now we had done that, and I really feel कि सबके लिए ये काफी helpful रहेगा. Already many people have joined us live, and already we had the recording of this session, which will be available, on YouTube. So people will watch after this session also this entire recording. So I really hope it will be super helpful for everyone. One more thing, I'm planning to conduct a generative AI 3-day workshop very soon. A dedicated video for this will come on my channel by tomorrow or maximum day after tomorrow. So you will get more details about that. Team is working in the back end to create a proper landing page for the same. So we are working on this. And I really want to thank you all to share your votes. Yesterday I just did a post, and many people have shared that they are really interested in that. I didn't have a time to conduct a long courses for now because currently one of my courses already going on. I hope everybody knows for data science. So I won't conduct any long form course, but definitely this 3-day workshop will be super beneficial for all those people who are working in the companies, who are freshers. The main prerequisite is that you should know Python. If you are already familiar with the tools like Docker, the LangChain framework, that would be super great. But I always try to explain the projects in a layman manner. That's what I will try to do there as well. And we will do live project demonstration of 2 projects, which I already have mentioned in the poll. You can check it out. Remaining information you will get in the upcoming video. So please stay tuned. And with that, I think we can leave for today. If there are no further questions,
Also,
yes,
thank you, ma'am,
Tushar. Okay, then.
for
Thank you
giving
so
me
much,
this
everyone.
opportunity.
Yep, great.
And thank you
Thank
everyone
you.
for
Thank you so
joining.
much.